Attention, attention, dietitians, listen up. Don't do what I did. Okay. A few months ago, I saw a thumbnail by a doctor saying, "I'm sorry." Now I'm seeing them all over the place. And when I saw that, I was so mad because I wanted to do it. I am doing it. I'm sorry to all my patients. But I'm going to take this apology and go a step further and warn everybody, especially us dietitians, please listen up. I'm going to say things I wish I had heard when I was a young dietitian. But if you haven't evolved yet, you need to hear this too. So, these are not excuses. I'm just going to say this stuff so if it resonates with you, you'll keep listening and hopefully evolve with me. Okay. So, early on as a dietitian, I was a complete puppet. I thought for myself a lot, so I thought in the beginning. I always was a little different. I always thought outside the box, but I was still brain numb. I still did exactly what I was supposed to do because I'm a good rule follower. And that's what you gotta do when you have a job that depends on it, when you have grades that depend on it, and when you have a registration that depends on it. You answer questions the way they're to be answered. But also, what I mean by that, by brain numb, is when I would give education as a dietitian, I would give education and I would use pre-formatted education materials. A few years into my dietitianhood, I started to modify them a lot, especially since I would be listening to thank God, listening to my patients, and they'd say, I'm diabetic, I can't eat all those carbohydrates. And if you're a dietitian, you know what I'm talking about, the bottom of the food guide pyramid. I won't go through all that right now. For people who don't know what I'm talking about, I have videos for that. But basically, I was a puppet and I still use the stuff because I didn't want to get in trouble, but I would modify things based on what the person would say. Thank goodness. But it still wasn't good enough. I still hurt my patients because I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, and I'd like to share that with everybody. But let's look at this a little bit further. Brain numb. What do I mean by that? Well, I had to turn off. I would be educating somebody and I would say something like, "Oh, wow, that makes sense. How come this isn't what I'm giving this person here?" What I was thinking, what I was teaching the patient was coming out from me because it made sense probably from my very early training when it comes to like actual biochemistry and actual A&P, anatomy and phys. And then I would give this pre-formatted material and it just wouldn't jive with what I was saying. I'll stop it there. But I went on automatic pilot. I didn't want to be the underpaid little dietitian that was causing a JACO violation for the hospital. I had to abide by our policies and procedures. Even though I'm a little dietitian in this big hospital, they actually, or at least that's what they made us think, that if we didn't follow P&P, we were going to cause a JACO violation. So that's where the fear comes in, that becomes automatic pilot. So we make ourselves go brain numb. I was thinking about it. It all sounded a little familiar, so I looked up the definition of brainwashing, and I'll just read it off really quick because it's interesting. It's from psychology.iresearchnet.com. Form of severe indoctrination marked by physical and psychological stress, intense social pressure, and a variety of persuasion techniques. Maybe I wasn't physically, I would have been fired, so I would have physically had to leave. That's at least the fear made us think that, right? This form of intense indoctrination usually promotes some particular form of political or religious doctrine, often entailing costly sacrifices by adherents. That sounds pretty close to me. That's sad. So don't be like me. Listen and learn from everyone you come in contact with. Never stop learning. When you seek places to get CEUs, continuing education, please look for non-big food, non-big ag, and non-big pharma places as well. Find researchers and doctors that you get, that speak to you, that excite you listening to them. But don't listen to them trying to find something like, yeah, to support your notions right now. Find some that challenge and figure out what the heck are they trying to say, and see if it'll open your brain. Sorry. And don't judge people. The more you judge, the more closed off your ears are. And work with your clients until. One thing about listening to everybody and not judging them, when someone says, oh, I'm doing keto, don't just automatically know what keto is. There's different definitions of keto. People have completely different diets based on what they think keto is. So be careful there. Don't say, what diet are you following? Or don't let them even say that. Say, what are you eating? What are you eating? That's the best question to ask. And how do you feel? What's your goal? So there's some things here I'm going to hit in a little dietitian series. Listen up, dietitians, or don't be like me, dietitian series. We'll see. What really is essential for our clients? What must we eat? Well, we learned back in school that there was what? Essential fatty acids and some essential amino acids. Never did we put the word essential in front of glucose, fructose, or whatever. No carbohydrate is essential. I know, isn't that crazy? Glucose in our body is essential. That does not mean that we need it from external sources. We make it. We make plenty. Unless we are in extreme sports. So under extreme conditions, then maybe we need a little external at the moment while we're doing it. Ketones. Ketones are not dangerous. Get that out of your head. Ketoacidosis is different than ketosis. Ketosis is the presence of ketones in the blood. Happens all the time. Completely normal. But it's not normal when your sugar's high as well, like type 1 diabetes. Insulin. Insulin and other hormones. Learn about it. Learn about the basics. It's good stuff. I used to hate it because I didn't understand it, but I never really tried. Well, I think I did try. I just didn't have the right sources. I wasn't reading the right sources. Of course, we have a lot more information now. Insulin resistance. What the heck is it? Is it insulin bad? So isn't it good that we're resisting insulin? No. So read up. Diabetes type 2. Both of them are very important. Diabetes type 2 is insulin resistance. We just had it longer. That's when the glucose starts to get higher in the blood. The body can't handle that. The insulin can't cover it anymore. Calories. We are mathematicians, always figuring out how many calories a patient needs in our policy and procedure, so we usually had to do that if it's a nutrition consult, right? So don't worry so much about calories. Teach nourishment, what is essential. I know if someone is on tube feeding or something, you need something to aim for, I get it. Work with doctors. Work with them. And the patient, of course. I know doctors are busy, but if you need to speak to a doctor, make sure they know, just, hey, I'm worried about your patient. No, it depends on the doctor, but try to approach them in a non-threatening way and just say, I'm doing this for your patient. And if they're not willing to listen, then go to the ones who are and just do what you can do. I know it's hard. Learn how to counsel. That's really important. Most of our, besides math, most of our functions seem to be more psychologically based, don't they? So, if you've learned anything today, dietitians, I hope, make sure that you give me a thumbs up, but also check out the other videos. This might help open your brain and learn things that they didn't teach us in school, and we're not learning in our CEUs. So I'm here for us. I'm not evolved, I'm evolving. So evolve with me. Thank you so much.